Well, welcome to Chapter 22, Technical Soil Services video. And we're going to be discussing the TSS object and the importance of populating this table. You'll notice that it's one of the first two objects listed in the table's Explorer panel. And TSS is one of our management tools for both our resource soil scientist and our soil survey soil scientist. Keep in mind, everybody does TSS activities. Now, in NASIS 6.3, we've got slight modifications of this table. And when you open up the tree, you'll notice that we have the standard Technical Soil Services area overlap table. And in addition to that, we have a new table, Technical Soil Service Site, which we'll be discussing here shortly. And the essence behind this table is allows you, for those of you who capture a PET-ON description or you've logged a well log for doing a engineering, you can capture that point data and then be able to link it back to your TSS activity, and then in due time we'll write reports that allow you to print out your TSS report and include your PET-ON description. So those are some of the things that we're thinking about in the future. I'm going to double click and I'm going to open up this table. Now you'll notice that we have a new record here. This kind of deviates from the old Chapter 22 user guide where you have to insert a new record, add a new row. In 6.2 we made it so that all tables have a new record at the bottom. So we're going to start here and we're going to move on now. I'm going to move my Explorer panel out of the way so we have more territory here. So I'm going to hit the double lines. Now the scheduled start date. Let's assume I'm trying to manage my time and I want to look at a few things down the road, such as some sort of soil judging, FFA soil judging, and I know that that's coming down the line. I want to schedule a start date. I also want to schedule the completion date. That is a management tool for you as a TSS person to be able to identify future workload that you know is coming down the line and be able to manage your work. Moving on over to the date started. Of course, the date started is going to be that particular date that you literally did the work and then the date that you finished the work. Notice the soil service type. This is in bold italics, meaning that it is a required field. You cannot leave this table, you cannot leave this record until that field is populated, and it's given to you in a choice list. So we can come through here and look at the different varieties of TSS activities that we've developed as a choice list. Scroll through the list and pick and choose the one that you want to be able to record. Let's just say for the, I'm just going to use on-site investigation other. Better yet, let's use conservation plan resource inventory. That's a common one we use. We have now included the number of hours. Now, why did we do this? It wasn't to track you. It was mainly to track the amount of work that you are doing in TSS activities. Keep in mind that under this Soil Science Division reorganization, the soil survey operations are supposed to provide 15% of their time into TSS activities, and this allows us a gauge to find out are we meeting that goal. So just identify the hours that you've taken and worked on that particular record, that particular plan. The instances, how many of these instances did you work on? Did you go to the field office and work on 4 conservation plans? Did you just work on the one? Once again, be consistent in your application, because the consistency is important for you whenever you're pulling your reports. The NASIS username is every single NASIS user, and then I can just scroll down here. I can find my name. And then the recipient, once again, these are bold and italic, and I can come over here and say it was a conservation district. Only one plan was affected because I'm only working on one instance, and it took me 8 hours to take care of. The program that was benefited, let's see, there's the whole variety, and let's just say this is a WIP instance, and you'll notice as I scroll across, everything scrolls with it. The acres benefit, let's say it was a 640 acre field. The people that were served would be 1. What was the outcome? Well, the outcome was that we influenced, pardon me, we could have influenced or created technical materials. We could have influenced the policy. We could have influenced the external entities. Yeah, we can add a lot more choice lists to this, but the point is, find something that we can use here that you're going to be generic for that particular outcome, and just be done with that particular one. Now you'll notice that under impact we get these three dots, and what impact does, once you open it up, you now have a freeform choice, a freeform text field that allows you to go in here and populate whatever you discovered, whatever you worked on. This is your notes that you're dealing with and that you want to be able to remember next October or next September what work you were working on. So think about that. I'm not going to put anything in this one. New change in TSS. Instead of the overlap tables, what we've done is we've moved all of the overlap information into the table itself. So we can come over here and say that take my choice list, and this is, I was in Kansas when this happened, and I was in, I can type in KS169 and tab on over. So now I've got that taken care of, and then I can say this was in MLRA 74. Okay, now next thing we're looking at, and this is in case of those of you who have been using GPSs to get Latin long and UTMs, the standard now is the decimal degrees, WGS 84, standard latitude and standard longitude, that you can capture right off your GPS. If you're working on a 604, use the farmstead for your location. If you're looking at a particular dam site, then use that GPS coordinate. The remaining latitude and longitude is not that important. Choose one that you're going to work on all the time, and as a division, we would prefer that you use latitude and longitude. And the reason why is because these are easily mapped into GIS or into Google or any other type of activity that you're using. So we're going to talk about all of these datums and the longs and the lats here in just a few minutes. And then you'll notice that when you everything in NASIS is recorded by person, and so we also have the date that you actually worked on this and the date this particular record was worked on. Okay, we filled out that particular TSS record. Remember, this is still a new record. It hasn't been captured in the local database yet. There's a couple of ways I could do this, but I'm going to show you the one I'd prefer you to use, and that is the end edit, the check mark. And now that I've ended the edit, I now have a new record down below, and I also have a plus here. I'm going to open up the plus. We have the overlaps. In case there's if you wanted to add the HUC as an overlap, you can add the HUC as an overlap. And then of course the other one is the TSS activity. So if you've entered a site record and you've gone to the site table and you've entered your pet on and you've got that information captured, then you can come in here. And of course I have no sites in my local database, so it doesn't appear, but it would be a choice list based off of that site. So I hope this gives you a good roundabout way. Keep in mind you can modify these to set up the way you want it. If you wanted to, you could click and drag and remove scheduled and start date, because I don't ever use those. And then you could also come over here and right click and you could say freeze the pane, freeze the columns. And so now as you scroll across, the TSS activity. So that gives you some ideas on some of the ways. I don't need latitude, degrees, minutes, seconds, direction. So I can remove all of these additional columns, and all I do is clicking and dragging, moving things down. And so this shows you that it does not take that much time to be able to enter this data. And the importance of capturing this data for both your benefit of understanding what you did throughout the year and national headquarters understanding of the workload that's being done and the marketing that we can use on this information. goes to show you that this is a valid management tool for both you and for headquarters. Thank you for your attention.